Hello and a very good morning. My name is Harish, and I'm known as Harry. And today I take immense pleasure in talking to you all about how to benchmark your user onboarding process through automation. So welcome, and this is going to be a very quick webinar where I just give you what you needed. And of course, this is through the requirements that I've gathered over the years, and I've put together this puzzle so that this will benefit most of the admins out there. So I just thought this could be of some help to you guys. And this session is going to be really quick. I'm going to address the key point about how you could benchmark your user onboarding process through automation, one of the top features in ADManager Plus. The term onboarding is not an accepted term in Microsoft Word. Imagine Active Directory. Let me just redo it again. The point where I'm getting at is the term onboarding, when you take it through the Microsoft Word, you do see those arrows right at the bottom of the onboarding, right? That's not a recognized term under the Microsoft Word. So that tells you how critical and important the onboarding part is. So with due respect, I just wanted to get the humor quotient straight and then drive the serious business of why an admin should lay emphasis on a strict, legitimate onboarding process. Agenda, there's no strict one. It's just going to be on elaborating the points that I had sent out on my synopsis. I'm going to give you a multi-user model. I just gave you a multi-department and role. And through this, you would be able to associate yourself with the requirements that you are going to face in your day-to-day cycle. And you guys are able to see my screen, right? Hang on real quick. I think, perfect. Everything is good. And just a heads up, meanwhile, keep the questions coming. I have a separate person who's addressing all your questions. You can use the questions window right at the panel, and your questions would be addressed immediately. So go for it. And again, a word on the agenda. This is going to be on how you could automate your onboarding process on two schemas. The first thing is the multi-user, and the second is the multi-user, multi-department. Okay? So now let's get started, and let me go into the actual perspective. Of course, when you talk about the onboarding part, you've got two people who share at least a decent amount of owning to this particular process. One is the HR team, because they associate themselves with the onboarding process. They help the organization with sourcing the right clients. But at the back end, it's the admin who sits out and slogs every single requirement that an organization needs. So on the green side is the HR perspective, which is like the rocket science. You've got the first name, you've got the last name, you've got the employee ID, you've got the basic contact information, you've got department, you've got designation. So in short, the HR perspective is just getting the answers filled out in a form. Let's jump on to the admin's perspective. These are real business. You've got group membership, you've got home folders, profile paths, you've got Mailbox. When I talk about Mailbox, on-premise Mailbox, and they are starting from 2003 to 2016. So you've got a lot to deal with the on-premise Mailbox. You can create Mailbox, mail-enabled contacts, and much more. And then you've got other platforms to play with. You've got the Office 365 account. You've got Google Apps. All this is the admin's perspective, and on the left side is the HR perspective. But with ever-growing evolution, the perspective just keeps getting better and better. You just can't survive with a skilled layout. So with that being said, let me show you. The perspective keeps growing. The HR side is very same. Of course, most of the admins You know how difficult it is to play with the HR perspective, but they have their own skill. With that being said, you need to keep things very, very simple. On the admin side, I've added more perspective. Uh, the initial layout was group membership, home folders, mailbox, Office 365, Google Apps. But on the right side, you've got custom attributes uh, in case if you have extended your schema, you want to read and write information. That is one option, because these days you expand, you get more. So you would definitely be having some custom attributes. And who is going to check for duplication? What happens if two users on the same day join in on the same time and everything about the user is same, the first name and the last name? So what happens if the user already existed in Active Directory? It's difficult to recollect things that you've done in the past. So the duplication is an important factor. What about the user creation rules? Why can't you set rules if certain conditions are met? Why can't things move across to Active Directory? That's where I'm getting at for your user creation rules. Let's take a quick example on the user creation rules. If the department is finance, the respective group membership according to those department must get into those users. So you can write a user creation rules. Again, all these are script free. ADManager, I'll be showing you, I'll be hand walking you into how you can develop one, and the password settings. Who is going to help you with the password settings? When I say password settings, the default password policy would be in place, but you can add an extra set of layer when users are created using ADManager Plus. When I say users are being created using ADManager Plus, you can just add an extra layer of security. You've got the random generated passwords. You've got where you can type your own passwords. You can leave it as a logon name, or you can leave it blank. But again, we've given you all the options that you need, and that is where I am going to introduce you to templates. Because let's stay tuned to what I initially said. I'm going to automate user onboarding process. So in order to automate user onboarding process, there are certain things which you cannot avoid. These are just one-time process, and every single requirement of yours can be met using a template. And what is a template? A template is a layout where you pre-configure your information. A template could be department specific, could be OU specific, could be role specific. All the tabs that you see, I'll be showing you into the product too, so don't worry about it, okay? The general tab, the account tab, the contact, the exchange, remote mailbox, you get to customize a layout, and all you basically need is just the very basic information that the HR team would get it out of a form, and you fuse these two together to automate user onboarding. With that being said, let's get into ADManager Plus. I have one open right here. Perfect. So I click on AD Management. I click on User Creation Template. Let me just zoom this a little bit so that you guys would be able to see it better. Let's create one from scratch so that we all could be on the same page. And I'm going to name this as Test Webinar. Perfect. You can choose the respective domains you want this template to be associated to. And let's start with the very basic. You've got the naming formats, the 101 of security. You can keep things special. You can keep things just the way you want it. You can create a custom naming format. When I say custom naming format, the first initial of the first name, followed by the last 4 characters of the last name, followed by a custom attribute or a special word that you want to get associated. So you can customize your very own naming format. In which case, I have the first name plus last name. And I had told you about the duplication. I'm going to do it on the domain level. I've got 3 options. So you basically tell the tool what needs to be done in case if a duplication is met. If there is a user already existing or the sheet contains information which collide, you tell the tool what needs to be done. Append values beside the second user, and it will incrementally, keep every third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. It will incrementally add numbers beside the users. You can apply a separate naming format, or you can say don't create the user. You could go ahead and make fields mandatory, meaning they cannot be bypassed. You can delete certain fields. Again, deleting them will not take it away from Active Directory. It just takes it away from the layout. You could go ahead and drag and drop at your later convenience, so they become a part of your layout. All right? So let me just go ahead and keep this to none. Perfect. And then you can position the OU, the email, and then you jump into the account attribute where you play with the password details, the one I promised. You've got the configure password complexity. So this is going to sit on top of your password policy. So this is just adding an extra layer of security for your organization. You've got the account properties where you could play with the flags. You've got the member of group membership permissions. So this particular template would give access to users to these groups. You can add as many as groups you want. You can set it as primary. And then you've got the login scripts. And please, the following section is very, very important. You've got the profile path and the home folders. You can map in a specific folder, and you can play with their permissions straight out of ADManager Plus. You don't have to do it. You don't have to repeat it every now and then. We will be using macros. So all you basically need to do is, for instance, I just need the server, the share, and the percentage username percentage. So the macros would fetch the details from the field that you go ahead and give me on the general attribute right here. And then you've got the account expires, log on restrictions, jumping on to the contact and organizational information. And to begin with, you do see the Office 365, which I'll be touch basing as the last tab of the template. But with that being said, there are certain criteria that needs to be met, but these are all just one-time process. So with the Office 365, you need to specify the country attribute. With that being said, let's push that to United States. You can play with the title. You can play with the department. You can play with the company. Let's name it Soho. And you can specify the managers too. Let's do Girish. Now coming into actual business, the mailbox, your on-premise exchange, right from 2003 to 2016. You can position the server, you can position the store, you've got the email alias, you've got the simple display name. We just don't create mailbox, we actually help you indulge in your exchange. I don't need you to remote into any more EMCs. This tool will do what you just basically need for your complete exchange. You create a mailbox, you play with the storage limits, proxy mail IDs, delivery restrictions, you've got delivery options. And for people who are using 2010 and above, you could play with the exchange policies and the protocol service too, mobile services. All this straight at the time of user onboarding. For remote mailbox, if you have an on-premise AD and you want the mailbox to be on the cloud, you could just go ahead and enable remote mailbox. Terminal service. So this is for the remote profile that you need. So you can set the user profile and the home folder with permissions, and you could play with the client drives, printers, and you can even enable access on the remote control and dial in or VPN. You can allow or deny access. Link, LCS, OCS, and Skype for Business. Most of you that I've met over the last year or so, the Skype for Business was much sought after. We've given you that access too. So you could go ahead and provision accounts in the link, and you could play around with the policies as well. So with that being said, let's move into the custom attribute, where you can run custom. The custom attribute is a place where you read and write information onto attributes that you have added. You've extended your schema. ADManager Plus would be able to help you read and write information onto those attributes. All I basically need is a valid LDAP header, and that is all I need, and you would be able to see those fields right here once you add them under the admin tab. And post that, in case you do have a custom script which you would like to be invoked right at the time of successful user creation, you can just give me the script. The script could be completely of your choice. It could be a VB script, it could be a partial script, and you can just give me the location, invoke using the location, and post successful user creation, you would be able to, the tool would be able to invoke the script for you. And Office 365. With ADManager Plus, you can create accounts in Office 365. You can associate license. A two-step process is being broken into one. And the coolest part is you are not remoting into any more consoles. Just take a look at how many consoles this tool has made you overcome. This is just a one pane of glass, so you can play with your on-premise Exchange, your remote mailbox, your link, your Office 365, and your Google apps too. You can onboard accounts for your Google apps too. So with that being said, you can choose create with DirtSync enabled, without DirtSync enabled, and you can choose the respective licensing that needs to be applied to users who get onboarded using this particular template. So let me go ahead and of course, creation rules right here. You can create new rule, and the condition is department, let's say to human resource, add. So and these membership have to be added, member of. So these are condition-based filters, the creation rules. You can add as many as rules you want, and when these fields meet across the field that you have specified, you could go ahead and assign these values if the department is human resource. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, wipe this off. Yep. And let me save the template. Perfect. And now would be the best time where I show you. Let me just take a look at the next slide that I wanted to show you. Perfect. Sweet. Now, that's the template I spoke about. So you can create as many as templates you want. You can copy templates. I'll even show you that right real quick. You can copy templates, and you can retweak them. Just to repeat, drive home the message, you can create as many as templates you want, and a template could be OU specific, department specific, role specific, and you can just retweak them accordingly. And what initially took 45 minutes, this tool is reducing it to just few minutes. And how am I giving you this information is through enormous amount of customizations that I've done to esteemed customers like you. I've sat with you guys, and first I ask you to go about doing your required process, and then we do it the ADManager Plus way. So you can copy templates, you can go ahead and retweak them, and a template could be OU specific, role specific, department specific. So with that being said, now let's move into the automation. Perfect. So now let's piece the puzzle together. We have created a template which is a layout which contains all the information that you needed, And here is the automation which will help you fuse the template with just a particular CSV file with just the basic information. And I'll even show you what CSV file I'm referring to. So let me take you into ADManager Plus again, into automation. I have two automations set right here, but let me create one to give you a feel on how easy you can create an automation. And let's use this as webinar test. And my task is to create users. Okay? And I choose the template. And all I basically need is on a shared folder, just place the CSV file. And what information should these CSV contain? That's a brilliant question. So this is all I need. I just need the first name followed by the last name. Everything else is being pre-populated using the template. So now let me give you two simple questions, just two simple questions. On a regular day, you have, let's say, two people walking into your organization. I'm just keeping things really simple. Two specific users walking into your organization, two specific departments. Let's say, or let me keep it very, very simple on question one and question two. Question one is two users, one department, and question two, two users, two different departments. How would you go about doing that? And this Excel sheet that you're seeing right now is the answer for the first question. Two users, and they go into the same department. I've just introduced a field called template name, and I have placed this file on a shared folder. Perfect. And I just give you the location right here, and that is pretty much it. You just tell me you want to run it daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, and you execute the process. That is how simple your task is going to be. So now let's get back to the second question, which is where most of the administrators find it difficult, because everything about the users are going to be completely different. Two different users, two different departments. How are you going to tackle that? And to tackle that, let me give you a good heads up. And this is the CSV file. All I basically need is the first name, last name, and the template name. So I'm piecing all the pieces together, and I've got the given name, the surname, and the template name. And I have placed this on a specific share, and all I basically need to do is invoke them. Let me get back, and these are the two automations that I just saved, and I've named it just for your understanding: multi-user, same department; multi-user, multi-department. So when I do this, I have set it every week, Wednesday at 5, and this is also every week, Wednesday at 5. All right. So you can either do that, or you can even repeat the process every 15 minutes. You could do more. You could repeat the task every 15 minutes. You can make the tool read information from appended objects only if it's the same file that your HR team updates on a periodic basis. You don't want the users to be created again and again and again. Only newly appended objects would be taken into consideration. All right, so now that's gone. Let's cancel this because I have already saved what you need. And now all I'm going to do is hit run now. Perfect. The automation has started executing. I hit again. Perfect. Sweet. I'm just timing my presentation here. I'm just closing in on the 30 minutes mark, but I have achieved two most important tasks that every administrator had ever wanted. So first is I have automated your user onboarding process. I have developed two programs. One is for multi-user, same department, and the other one is multi-user, multi-department. Awesome. Now that we have executed the automation, where would you go ahead and see what happened? So that is where you've got the execution history, which will tell you the date and time, the finish time, the request ID. So when you take a look at the request ID, you could see what exactly happened because the objects already existed in Active Directory. So that is the Harry Stamper and Peter Sled already exist in AD. So this is not going to let you create users who already exist in Active Directory. So now let's take a look at the other automation too. Execution history again. Let's click on perfect objects, and there you go. Because with ADManager Plus, you get to see every single status clear and better. We just don't let you lost in the wild. We tell you where the actual problem is, and that's the reason I picked use cases such as this. Successfully created the user, error in creating Office 365 user, and cannot assign license, no licenses available. Why do you get that? Why do you get that? Basically, for the Office 365, you basically need the country attribute, and in which case, the global admin account that we need in the product could have some problems. But we clearly tell you where to look into for any particular problem that has come across through ADManager Plus. You can export this, and let's go back to automation again, and you could go ahead and copy automation, and you've got clear-cut execution history that will tell you what just happened, where you stand, and what needs to be done through the error message you get. So this, in short, is the staying true to my topic about how you could automate user onboarding. And of course, let me just pull up my presentation again. Perfect. So the automation is right here. So let's get a quick summary because I'm hitting the 30 minutes mark, and that's a promise that I had maintained on the synopsis. And you guys let me know whether this was effective on the 30 minutes that I've given you all that you needed. And just a quick summary as to what we've just did so far, effectively build an automation for user onboarding programs without compromising any information, without bypassing, without eliminating, without overlooking any information. You have built through me, that is, we have built an effective automation to onboard programs. And the second important thing is clear automation execution history. Clear. We just don't let things just happen all by itself. We tell you when it started, what's the current situation, where's the problem right now. Is it because of the tool? Is it because of the file? The tool is not able to read the file, and in order to pick the files from the respective shares, I need access, and these are my shared location from the machine where the product is installed. Just make sure that these shares are accessible and just give it to me on a shared folder. And all that I need is a CSV file with just the basic information. And with that being said, I just have just wanted to say every problem does have a solution. All right, that's my email address. Just get in touch with me, and we can work together to help you build a trustable and a more reliable automation process for just not your user onboarding and much, much more. So that's my email address. I would encourage you all to go ahead and make a note of it and reach out to me for any assistance. Let me just see if I have any questions that just came through the webinar. Just one quick minute. I'll pick two of 2 or 3 questions. Let me just see. I just got 2. Perfect. I just got a cool question. Thank you. And the question is, what happens? Can the automation be looped through a human intervention? Absolutely. You've got the implement business workflow through which you can streamline the process. So just before a user is to be created in Active Directory, an email is triggered to the concerned people. You can build the chain to your requirement. The requester becomes the automation. There would be a reviewer, there would be an approver, there would be an executor. Again, the chain is completely yours. And based on their approval or rejection, things move into Active Directory. So in which case, I'm going to keep it to skeleton-like. So the automation triggers a request, and you can streamline the process as to where a ticket must go to whom, and you can notify as many as people you want. You can customize the text. So yes, with the automation, you can loop in a workflow to streamline your process. And the next question was, yes, we have recorded this video and you should be getting it shortly. And that was the next question that I had. Hopefully the last question that I would take right now. The rest are being answered by my team. And thank you, team, for giving them answers real time. Absolutely. I mean, there was one question which is not in lines to the automation, but they just posed a question that said, we need the ability to manage contact computers, groups, OUs, and objects. Absolutely. Welcome to ADManager Plus. So this would be your intermediate between technicians and Active Directory. So welcome. Please drop an email, and this is my email address right here. Please make a note of it and drop me an email, and I would be more than happy to, sit with you on a call and perform what I just mentioned on this webinar on your environment. So perfect. Thank you so very much for your time, and I'll let you all for the rest of the day. And thank you so very much for attending this webinar. And you guys have a fantastic afternoon and followed by evening. Thank you so very much. This is Harvish Shekhar signing off, and get back to me for any assistance. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.